So welcome to EFT Expert Interviews, where we talk to renowned EFT practitioners on topics that can transform your life. These are live interviews where you can ask questions and get answers from the speaker. I'm your host, Stefan Gonig from EFTalive.com and singletosoulmate.me. Today, we're talking to Jacqui Crooks on the topic of tapping into ancestral healing, clearing your past to transform your future. Jacqui is one of the pioneers of energy psychology. She's an international speaker and trainer, an EFT Founding Master, and is the author of Tapping into Ancestral Healing and one of the authors of EFT and Beyond. Her background in NLP and hypnosis helped her to create her unique way of working with EFT, which allows deep level change quickly and easily without trauma. So welcome, Jacqui. It is so wonderful to have you.
Thanks, Stefan, and thank you for inviting me. I think you've done such a wonderful job setting this up so people have got this as a resource.
Well, I am very delighted to have you, and I'm really looking forward to this topic. I think it's something that people don't think about often enough. Even therapists and EFT practitioners tend to just focus on what's going on, with the person in their childhood and currently, things like that, and don't really think about what about past influences. And so I think it's a really important topic, and I am really excited to be talking about it. But before we get into the meat of it, I want to hear your origin story. So how did you get involved in working with ancestral healing?
Well, it was really working with clients. I was working with the EFT right at the beginning, and it was a case of people would say, it only works 50% of the time, or it'll only work with these things, it won't work with these. And I had the belief it would work with anything, but I didn't always know how. So it was my job to keep trying different things, keep trying things, experimenting, see how I could make something work. And actually, I had two clients that came to me separately, 3 months apart, both with a severe fear of rejection, both men. And we cleared stuff way back to childhood, as far back as we could go, and still nothing was shifting. We cleared lots of stuff, but still the basic issue was still there. And the fear of rejection was so great, they'd never had a relationship, because the fear of being in a relationship and then losing one, which I'm sure you've talked about with your soulmate stuff, was so huge that they just wouldn't go there. And really, it was in desperation. With one particular client, I just said, are there any stories about your birth? And he said, oh yes, my mum tried to abort me, but I survived, and we've got a really good relationship now. And I thought, well, that would be the fear of rejection then. So we did some work on that and cleared it, and suddenly he'd got there, well, maybe I could try. Well, I wonder what it would be like if I tried. So instead of that complete stone wall, he was open to making things different. So when the next client came along, I thought, I'll ask him. So I said, any stories about your birth? And he said, oh yes, my mum tried to abort me, and I was a twin, and my brother died and I survived. So he'd got survivor guilt as well as the trauma of being rejected. And again, had a good relationship with his mother now, because obviously things changed. And we cleared things there, we cleared the trauma, and suddenly things were different again for him. So I started thinking about the time in the womb. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the womb. And I started to think, okay, so if you're in the womb of an anxious mother, the mother's adrenaline is going through your body, so that's obviously going to be affecting you. And way back at the beginning when I started working with EFT, the client said to me, my mum said I was born anxious. And I said then, oh, no, you just learned to be anxious. But I started thinking, well, yes, of course. It's like being in the womb of a junkie, a drug addict. Your body gets used to it. And then when you're born, you can't make that. But if the drug of choice is adrenaline, when you're born, your body knows how to make that. It starts to create it. And sort of asking clients questions, they go, oh yes, my mum was anxious and so was my grandmother. So you could see how it gets passed down through the line. So I started experimenting with that and talking about what was going on with people, what was going on with their family. And then I started realizing that where their family came from depended on what was passed down. So the survival strategy of somebody maybe 600 years ago can get passed on down through the family line, not necessarily by words, but by actions. So as a child, you're watching your family to see what you're supposed to be believing about things. They don't have to tell you necessarily, don't do this or don't believe that or act this way. You see the family doing it, so you assume that's how it is and you do it yourself. And I think one of the things that really proved it for me, I was doing a workshop in New York on success. And we'd just been talking about this, and then we were talking about people's blocks to success. And I went round the circle saying, what's the block? What's the block? And I could just go English background, Irish background, Jewish background. And they were just laughing because it was so obvious. And of course, the best refrain was, our ancestors came to the States to get away from that. And we're perpetuating it. Wouldn't it be great to honour the ancestors by releasing the stuff that they couldn't? And that really is what I do with people when they come to me. The first session, we work on clearing the stuff that the ancestors have passed on. We thank them for it because it's been passed on with the best of intentions, but then we let them know we honour them for what they've done. We're keeping what's useful and we're letting go of what's not. And I can hear I've just gone on and on there, so I hope that was okay.
No, that was great. It seemed like it, as you said, it sort of came around by necessity with those two
Yes, yeah,
clients, since nothing you were doing was working. Even though
yeah,
the individual sessions were working, like you identify things that, oh, this seems to be related to rejection. Let's clear that. And you brought it down to 0. It's like, oh, yeah, it's cleared now. So now let's
yeah,
check in with your fear of rejection. Still a 10. Uh-oh. And, you keep
yeah,
doing it. And it's like, well, it's got to be something somewhere. And so it started to take you into looking for new sources and got you started in this whole path, which
yeah,
is awesome. I've had the same kind of thing happen for me, actually.
yeah, I'm sure, because when you keep that sense of curiosity, that belief that there's something at the bottom of this, I just don't know what yet, it keeps you trying, doesn't it?
Well, I also agree. The EFT Cats is joining us here.
No.
Uh, I also agree that EFT can work 100% of the time if you correctly identify what needs to be addressed. I'm totally with you with that. And I think that in way back a long time ago, um, to, you were saying things like, "Well, it seems to work 60% of the time, or whatever." Um, and I agree with your same conclusion. It's if you identify the right source, it will work
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
So yeah, like
And
I'm
it's our job,
in the
it's
90s.
our job as therapists to keep going till we find it, isn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, no, I think it's great that that's what led you to it.
Hmm.
Well, let's see so tell us more about how traumas in our ancestors affect us all the way in the present.
Well, depending on where your ancestor came from, if you come from the UK, we had a feudal system where there were the top, and then there were the rest of us. And if you became visible, you became the scapegoat for anything that went wrong. If you tried to come out of your station, we have this state, know your station, know where you belong in the world, in the hierarchy, and stay there, because if you step out of it, you're a target. So it goes along with you. Don't put your head above the parapet. So, the UK people, if somebody says, oh, that's a lovely dress, you'd never say, oh, thank you very much. It's like, oh, this old thing, I've had it forever, because you can't boast. So, if you've done something well, don't blow your own trumpet. Don't get too big for your boots. And I'm sure you've had those statements in the States, I know as well. So, that's the survival strategy. Stay small, stay invisible to stay safe. Um, if you come from a Jewish background where people were persecuted for thousands of years for having something, if you were looking successful in a country, they kicked you out of it. You got successful in another country, you were kicked out of it again. So don't let
or
people
killed.
do it. Yes, absolutely. So, and if you've got something, they'll take it away from you. So, hold it tight. Um, if you come from an Afro-Caribbean background where slavery was in force, if you stood out again, you became the scapegoat. Don't be visible because you'll be punished. And that sense of powerlessness that comes with it, the helplessness. I can't keep my family safe. I don't have the right to do it. All of those things. Nobody's saying that to people consciously now, but the strategies that come with it get passed down. So when you can start recognizing that, I would reckon that probably 95% of the stuff that gets in our way in this life right now either comes down the family line or it comes from unhealed traumas that we've experienced in other lives. And I always say it doesn't matter whether you believe in other lives or not. If you work as though something could come from it, it gives you a way in. So whether it's your life, whether you believe it's your life you've experienced, or you're plugging into somebody else's life experience, or the subconscious is just using it as a metaphor, it doesn't matter. It gives you a chance to get in deeply. And my belief is, if you're only dealing with what's going on in somebody's life right now, you're chopping the top of a dandelion. And guess what? Next week, you've got another dandelion. If you can dig out the roots, whether that be ancestral or be past life, there's no dandelion. And that's where you've got the proper clearing, the real clearing. And past life stuff popped up. We were talking earlier, weren't we? And it just popped up in a session I was having with somebody, and she just went to me. It goes back to Atlantis, and told me the story of her experience, and we cleared that, and things shifted. And not long after, another client came in and said, it goes back to Atlantis. And interestingly, they were telling exactly the same story. And actually, I had the same story too, because I had memories of being in Atlantis. But we were all doing it from different perspectives. So one person couldn't keep children safe when it collapsed. One couldn't keep the animals she was caring for safe when it collapsed. For me, I'd been told that everything was okay and nothing would collapse. And I'd been telling people that, and then it did. So that feeling that I'd been betrayed, but also that I'd inadvertently betrayed other people. And each of us were carrying those wounds and trying to make up for them, if you like, in this life. So it was really interesting seeing the difference when we started clearing things for people. So those are just examples, really. And actually, one I was running a retreat in Slovenia.
Actually, before
And
you get to that story, just make one
yes,
comment. I just want to let people know who are on live with us right now that you're welcome to post comments at any point. You don't have to wait till the end. I know we have a live Q&A at the end, but you can make a comment or a question at any point. So you're welcome to do that. Okay, go
great.
ahead.
Thanks for reminding them. Yes, so I was running a retreat and somebody spontaneously got memories of being on a battlefield and being killed on a battlefield. And we carried on working with the group, and it ended up with the person there who had been killed on the battlefield. Next to him was the person who killed him, and the other side of him was his wife, who was still holding on to the grief of losing him. We did this huge healing for the three of them. And it's like everybody else was borrowing benefits at the same time, but it was just transformative, really. And I think there's no coincidence. If you're running a workshop, it's always the right people that turn up in a workshop. If a client finds you, you're always the right person for them and they're the right person for you. And that might change. They might need to move on to somebody else. But at that point, you're a good match. The universe just points you together.
Yes, absolutely. Um, So, what else might we be carrying that's not ours?
Feelings, often, situations where there's no logical reason to have a feeling, but you feel anxious, or you feel out of control, or you feel angry, but there's no logical reason for it. And if you can work out why, and it's really great to use the feelings, even though let's just do some tapping. We'll just do some tapping for a moment. What
Okay.
I would do if I'm doing a workshop, obviously I don't, or if I'm doing something like this, we don't go as deeply as I would do on a one-to-one session. But this is a simple way of doing it. So
And those
even
who are
though,
here live, I encourage you to go ahead and join in on the tapping.
yes, please do. And Stefan, will you be my echo?
Yes, I will.
So even though
Even though
I have these feelings
I have these feelings
and I don't know where they come from,
and I don't know where they come from,
and they're getting in my way,
and they're getting in my way,
I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself,
and maybe anyone else involved.
and maybe anyone else involved.
And anybody that's tapping along, there may be something you specifically are feeling right now, or there may be a feeling that you recognize you have regularly. You might just want to tune into that. So even though I have these feelings,
Even though I have these feelings,
and I don't know where they came from,
and I don't know where they came from,
and they may not have been mine in the first place,
and they may not have been mine in the first place,
I may have inherited them,
I may have inherited them,
and I've made them mine now.
and I've made them mine now.
I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
and anybody that was involved in creating them,
and anybody who is involved in creating them,
even though these feelings
even though these feelings
may go back to a previous life of mine.
may go back to a previous life of mine.
I love and accept myself
I love and accept myself
and any version of me
and any version of me
that ever felt these feelings,
that ever felt these feelings,
wherever they came from.
wherever they came from.
That was then,
That was then,
and this is now.
and this is now.
Whatever happened, happened,
Whatever happened, happened.
and it's
Whatever
over,
happened, happened,
and it's over,
and it's over.
and I've survived,
And I survived.
and I'm in this life now,
And I'm in this life now,
in 2025,
in 2025.
and maybe I just don't need to carry this with me.
And maybe I
I
don't like,
just don't need to carry this with me.
maybe I just don't need to carry this with me.
Releasing these feelings now,
Releasing these feelings now.
back to the universe for recycling.
I feel like moving to all the points here.
I'm going to in a moment, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Back
Back
to the
to
universe
universe.
for recycling.
Back to universe and
For recycling,
for recycling.
with my thanks for a job well done.
With my thanks for a job well done.
Letting go now
Letting go now.
of these feelings
These feelings
and anything I've connected to them.
and anything I've connected to them.
Any vows,
Any vows,
decisions,
decisions,
beliefs, or strategies
beliefs, or strategies
from this life
from this life
or any other.
or any other.
Balancing my energy
Balancing my energy
easily, safely, and comfortably,
easily, safely, and comfortably,
because that's what I deserve.
because that's what I deserve.
And that's the truth.
And that's the truth.
And then just take a breath, anybody that was tapping, and just tune in and just see how you're feeling. And as you notice, Stefan, I do spend a lot of time on the karate point, and it seems to work. I tend to go round the other points just as I'm a completion thing when I'm finishing. But if anybody wants to tap other points as they're going along, as you did, that's absolutely fine. I always say that to clients too. Um, but for me, when I'm just tuning in, it's easier just to keep going there and let them feed things through to me.
Sure, that makes sense.
So, how are you doing?
Uh, I'm I'm feeling a little more peaceful. I mean, I didn't have any feelings in mind when we started
Yeah,
because mostly what I'm feeling in these interviews is some excitement and curiosity and interest. Like, yeah, what are you going to say? You know, I'm looking forward to
yeah.
hearing things. So that was mainly what I was feeling. I'd be curious if anybody who did the tapping live, if you guys are willing to share your experience, that'd be great.
Yeah. And sometimes you're using what's called that artfully vague language. These feelings, you're not stating what they are, you're allowing your subconscious to go in and find them. And in that tapping that we did there, we brought in the ancestral stuff, we brought in the past life stuff, we brought in new information for parts of us. It happened, it's over, and I've survived. For parts of us, that's new information. They're still living the trauma. So,
Right.
those statements are really simple ways of getting in there and unrooting stuff without making it a trauma, without having to know what it is often.
Well, and also imagine that if you are doing this sort of general tapping and just tuning into what the person's feeling, um, that things will start to spontaneously emerge,
Exactly.
whether it's a past life or just in their childhood
Yeah.
or ancestral things like that.
Yeah.
All right, we have a comment. There's not words. They're little stars emojis
That's very nice. Thank you, whoever you are.
from. I think it says air energy.
Yeah.
Q2U. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Up here we go. Here's another one. Okay, this is from Koala RI9PN. And this person says, this is so good. Thank you so much, Jackie and Stefan. Thank you. I did have a question. I was doing a lot of meditation and revising a big trauma from this lifetime, and a past life memory came.
Yeah.
Now that's all that it said. I don't know if you got cut off and you had said more if that was the end of your comment, but can you say something about that, at least that?
I think that is often what happens when you're working on something. If you're feeling safe, if parts of you are feeling they're in a safe place, then the deeper things will come up, and often the past life stuff will come up. And sometimes I'll be working with somebody and they'll go, I felt like a stab in the back, and I actually get to see that before they do it. Sometimes, they'll show me the knife coming in. Um, but sometimes you need to be working with somebody to feel safe enough for that to happen. So if
Right.
it comes up when you're doing it for yourself, that well done, because that means you're allowing yourself to feel safe while you're doing that work. So congratulations, Koala.
We have another person comment. The first person who commented with the stars, I think, is introducing themselves.
Hi, Ashraf.
Yeah, Ashraf Siddiqui
Sadiq.
from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
I'm sure I
So
messed up
thank
your
you, Ashraf.
name. um, so
I'm very impressed with all this technology, Stefan.
modern days, yes.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about it? Can you give us? It'd be really cool to hear like a case study. I mean, you've given us like little examples here, but do you have like a bigger example? I mean, well, you had the fear of rejection thing, so that was a
Yeah.
nice concrete example. But you have like oh,
Yeah. Well,
and we have another comment from Koala.
okay.
Walla wrote, the only thing I did see the only thing I did see this spontaneously, but my problems got worse after that. I was revising.
So when you notice that things keep coming up, just go, thank you. Even though that's just come up and things feel worse, I'm reminding all parts that it's happened and it's over and it's safe to let it go. So sometimes a simple thing, I imagine that I've got a waste paper basket next to me and something keeps popping up and I just go, thanks, no thanks, ping, into the waste paper bin. And it's just a shortcut because sometimes we need to remind parts of us, that the parts that are running stuff out of habit, that actually they don't need to do that anymore. Because it's a bit like stopping smoking. Sometimes you can clear the reasons for people smoking, but then you have to deal with the habit. And that can be the same for emotional stuff. You can clear the reason for having those emotions coming up, but sometimes you just also have to deal with the habit. So if the problems got worse, then I would just be tapping on, even though this is getting worse and I don't know what it belongs to, I'm releasing it safely now.
I think Koala, though, got in touch with the past life experience. Do
Hmm.
you ever tap on the past life memory as if it was a current life memory?
Yeah, I would just go, even though that happened, and that, and I think it's the same as things in this life. It's not what happened that's the problem; it's the meaning we made of it. So even though that happened, and I made it mean so many things about me and about life, I'm releasing all those outdated meanings now. All the vows, all the decisions, all the beliefs and strategies and the feelings, and all the old outdated contracts. Because, the outdated strategies and feelings and beliefs, the vows, I'm never going to feel that again. Something traumatic happened. I'm never going to feel that again. So you don't know what's preventing you doing things in this life. So if it was about revising, I'm not very clear here, but if it was revising for an exam and being successful at something got you killed in one life, then you may have decided at that point, I'm never going to pass anything again and be visible for being intelligent or be visible for bringing new information into the world. And so if you look as though you're going to get to being successful again, there's a part that's going, don't do it, you'll die. So, it's you tapping on, even though that happened, and I created so many vows, decisions, beliefs, and strategies based on it. That was then, and this is now. It's finally safe to release all that outdated information. And then just see what happens. And then if something else comes up, you tap on that. It's a journey. It's not pass or fail. You deal with something, then you see what comes up and you deal with that.
Yeah. So we have another comment. And this person wrote, thank you. It feels liberating to know it is not all my stuff, but could be from the past family. However, feeling some family betrayal by doing this work.
Hi,
Oh, so that
Coco.
brings up interesting point.
That's a great one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's do some tapping, Coco. So
Even though
working on family stuff that got passed down
working on family stuff that got passed down
feels a bit like I'm betraying them,
feels a bit like I'm betraying them,
I'd like to remind all parts of me
I'd like to remind all parts of me
that that is a misunderstanding.
that that is a misunderstanding.
Dealing with the family stuff
Dealing with the family stuff
that they couldn't deal with,
that they couldn't deal with,
and then passing the healing back through the family line
and then passing the healing back through the family line
is not only honoring what they went through,
is not only honoring what they went through,
but is offering them healing that they couldn't access in their life.
It's also offering them healing in what they couldn't access in their life.
And what's more, it goes down through the family line.
And it goes down through the family line.
So nobody else has to experience what they experienced.
But nobody else has to experience what they experienced.
This is not about making anybody wrong.
This is not about making anybody wrong.
It's about acknowledging that they did the best they could
It's about acknowledging that they did the best they could
with what they had.
with what they had.
I suspect your cat is getting healing there as well.
Well, this cat, every time I do a session with a client, jumps in my lap and just lays there and purrs. That's why he's my EFT cat or my therapy cat.
So I'm releasing now
So I'm releasing now
all those old, outdated feelings of betrayal.
all those native, sorry,
Outdated.
outdated, all those outdated feelings of betrayal.
Acknowledging that sense of loyalty to those who came before me.
I'm acknowledging my sense of loyalty to those who came before me.
And the loyalty to those who come after me.
And the loyalty to those who come after me.
Doing the work that I'm doing now.
Doing the work that I'm doing now
is not only honoring me.
Is not only honoring me.
It's acknowledging and honoring both sides of the family line.
Acknowledging and honoring both sides of the family line.
I'm doing what they couldn't do.
I'm doing what they couldn't do.
Because those resources were not available.
Because those resources were not available.
And hopefully those who come after me.
And hopefully those who come after me.
Will do their work and send the resources back to me.
Will do their work and send their resources back to me.
And I love and accept us all.
And I love and accept us all.
Let's take a breath there. So I hope that helped, Coco.
Okay, and we have another comment from Koala, who says, after I saw the past life trauma, it hit worse. They also said they had a typo. Not sure what the typo was.
So if you're saying that the feeling of the trauma felt more, or the results that you thought belonged to the past life trauma were worse, again, it's what I was saying before. Just keep going, keep plugging away. Thanks for letting me know that you're still there. Those traumas happened and they're over. It's safe to let it go now. And just keep reminding all the current parts of you that you don't need to carry the trauma, and that it's safe to let go of the meanings that you made of it at that time.
I think it's also similar to what happens with current life stuff, is that, one of our big survival strategies is to try and suppress our negative feelings as much as we can, which is not complete. And it's often the case that when we get in touch with the source, all of a sudden we get much more in touch with our feelings, like, which doesn't mean that something bad happened. On the contrary, something good happened. It's now all available to clear out.
Well, yeah. If it's visible and you know it's there, you can deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just the same with past life stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a really good way of putting it, because that's exactly what it is. It's going, do something with it. Do something with it. I'm here.
Yeah. So it actually presents a great opportunity to heal it once and for all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it can be scary when it happens, like, it's getting worse. Oh no.
Yeah. And that, if you're not feeling safe dealing with it yourself, that's the time to look for a therapist to help you through it. As indeed I would. If something big has come up for me, I always go to somebody else, because they see things that I can't see. I do the same stuff on my own things, but if it's something big, I need somebody who's seeing the world differently.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Koala says, said thank you. Says, okay, here, start here. Koala, for some reason, I'm guessing it's, I don't know if it's a male or female person, but they said thank you. And then they said, it was physical problems.
Yeah.
And then it said, okay, thank you to what you said after that. And then here's another one from Koala that says, okay, even though that happened, I'm safe now. I am here now.
Perfect. That's exactly right. And recognise that your physical problems, I believe, have emotional roots. I often say to clients that if you haven't been able to hear it on an emotional level, it's like being hit over the head with a frying pan, so you can't miss it.
Right.
So if it's a physical thing, thanks, I've got the message. You can go now, and just keep reminding it.
And the training I came from originally, we called it, your issues are in your tissues.
I like that.
So catchy.
Yeah, and sometimes when it's physical stuff, it needs to do a lot of negotiating, a lot of working through stuff. It's not always simple.
Yeah.
Um, but
But when you
seriously,
identify the emotional root causes and heal them, and clear them
yeah,
out, then you
yeah.
get big relief from the physical issues.
And there are several books that suggest possible emotional causes for physical things. There's Louise Hay's How to Heal Your Body, but there are several others which I will often use just
Yeah.
to get a flavour of what it might be.
Yeah. I do kind of 50-50. I have a good book that's a starting point, and then I also use muscle testing, and then
Yeah.
just detective work. All right. So Koala wrote, excuse me, another comment. It says, no, it's called revision. It's a technique for changing your past.
All right. Thank you. I wasn't entirely sure whether it was revising for an exam or something. So yes, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that.
And Koala wrote, thank you so much, Jacqui.
Okay. It's a pleasure.
Okay. And Coco wrote, wonderful.
Okay. Thanks, Coco.
And here's Koala wrote, thank you. You answered it before. I'm slow at typing. You've helped so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
And let's see, Koala's got another one here. To clarify, well, the physical problems got worse once I remembered the past life.
Probably making sure you did something about it.
Right. Well, it's also just the same thing we were talking about, that when you get in touch
Yeah.
with the source, it just brings out the issue, including the symptoms, more fully,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
also makes it easier to heal it in actuality,
Mm.
even though it's disturbing. It's like, got worse. Okay.
So,
Uh, what else would you like to share about this topic?
I'm not sure. Trying to think what else would be useful. Have you got any?
How do you heal past lives? That was my question. I mean, I know how I do it, but I don't know how you do it.
Sorry, how?
How do you heal past lives? So somebody you're working with, they got stubborn issues, not clearing, and they get in touch with the past life experience that's
Hmm.
clearly the cause.
Yeah.
How do you clear it other than what you've said already?
Well, if they've got a specific image or a specific, yeah, I remember being killed on a battlefield with a whatever, then I would deal with it the same as I would deal with a trauma in this life.
So you just
So
relive the memory and tap on all the
yeah, even
feelings.
though this happened and that happened to me, and I felt this, and I created all these beliefs around it, that was then and this is now. And actually, for anybody that's doing it, whether you're a practitioner or you're doing it for yourself, that was then and this is now. It happened, it's over, and I survived. Are really useful statements because for parts of you, it will be new information. because there will be parts that are completely locked into that particular trauma and that particular time. And, it's when, if something happens to you when you're 5 and somebody looked at you in a certain way, you can be 50 and somebody looks at you in that way, and you're triggered back to the 5-year-old and the resources the 5-year-old had at that time. So it's the same with any past life stuff. You get triggered back to that time and the resources you had then. So that was then and this is now is a really useful bit of new information to deliver. If they don't know, but I suspect it may be a past life, that's when I'll do, and even though I don't know where it came from, I'm releasing it now from any life, time, ancestry, or dimension. Throw the lot in. Global, you don't need to know. You're telling the subconscious, any connection with any of these things, it's up for grabs, it's up for clearing. And sometimes I'll do that and they'll go, oh God, yes, I've just been triggered back. I remember this time. And sometimes you'll get a sense that you're clearing something and suddenly they've got this feeling here, and you can almost see the hand grabbing them around the throat. And I'll go, even though I don't know where this came from, and it may be in a previous life, somebody strangled me, or I was hung. That was then and this is now. And it's finally, and it's another phrase that's really useful, it's finally safe to release it now. Because there are parts that are going, when will it be safe? I don't think it's safe yet. It's finally safe to release it now. And it's giving all parts permission to go, okay. You can almost see them go, oh, thank goodness we've got there.
I don't have to be vigilant anymore.
Yeah. Because your parts are on the high alert for very good reasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so
in there?
What did you say?
Was that a question coming in?
No, I didn't. I don't have another question at the moment. Is there something else you would like to share?
No. I just saw it change, and I thought there was another question coming through.
Well, the change is I was going to transition. So what I was going to say is, there's been some questions and comments during, which is great. But we're about to have our formal Q&A period next. But before we do that, because I know not everyone will stay for the Q&A period, I would like to do a few transitional things. Like, for instance, Jacqui, how can people learn more about you?
Well, you very kindly put my website on there. So on my website, you will find a link to my free YouTube channel. You'll find links to DVDs that you can buy, masterclasses. So if you're a therapist and you want new tools to use in your therapy, that would be a good start. And my very, very favourite, my book.
Could you bring it a little closer? Bring it closer to the camera.
Ancestral Healing. Sorry, can you see it there?
There we go, yeah.
Which actually covers everything that we've talked about today. It takes you through ancestral stuff. It takes you through past life stuff. It takes you through current stuff. And then it takes you through how to start focusing on what you do want and how to attract that into your life. It's very simple, very easy to read. Lots of hints of things to put in. Lots of little tapping ideas. And I did it because, as we all are, we're getting on. And I didn't want, if I suddenly decide I'm either retiring or stepping off this life, I wanted all the stuff that I'd spent all these years creating, discovering, whatever, I wanted it to be available so that people who are therapists coming behind don't have to start from square one. They can use the stuff that I've created. If people want ideas of how to use it for themselves, I wanted it there. So that's what the book's there for. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from my website. If you want a paperback, it's from Amazon. If you want a downloadable one or an audible one, it's on my website. So thank you. That's that. And I have a workshop coming up next week, I think it is.
Oh,
So
okay. Soon.
that'll be on Zoom. So if anybody's interested in that.
Oh, here's somebody's comment. Uh, this person is they're it says kindness matters as their name.
Yeah.
Just joining in, going through some major life changes and interested in what you were talking about, listening. Okay,
So
great.
yeah,
Great that you joined us. We're actually towards the end, so but the YouTube live is going to become a regular video on YouTube soon after we finish. So
yeah.
a lot of good stuff in this interview. So definitely watch the replay.
And I love
Uh,
the kindness matters. It reminds me of David Hamilton and talking about kindness being
yeah.
if you're nothing else, be kind.
Now you have a free gift for everyone. It's a video
Yeah. I've
called
forgotten what it's
Healing
on
Past.
because I sent it to you a long while ago.
It's called Healing Past Lives.
Oh, thank you.
You want to share a little bit about what's in that video?
As I said, Stefan, I sent it to you a long time ago and I can't remember. But
All
it
right.
will be some of the stuff that I'm doing here, and it will be stuff that you can tap along with. I will guarantee you there is stuff there to tap on with. It'll be a short bit of talking about it, and then it'll be come and tap with me, and we'll clear some stuff.
Okay, great. Now there's a link to this video in the description of the interview video, so you can see it there. I also have 2 free gifts for people that are also in the description, and you can read about them there. I'm not going to mention here. Just a couple other things before we get into the Q&A. If you like this interview, please like the video, subscribe to get notified of more videos. At the very bottom of the description of this video, there's a link to sign up for email notifications of upcoming interviews. They happen twice a month on Saturdays. The next interview is on December 13th, 2025 with Kathleen Weber. The topic is EFT for students, bridging education and emotions. And
You've
that's all
had
that.
some really great interviews.
Yeah, I have interviews lined up from now through much of 2026. I plan to do this for about 2 years, so there's going to be a lot. I've been in the EFT world for a very long time, so I actually know all the
A
prominent
lot of
people
people.
in it. So it's been very easy to connect with them and say, "Hey, can we want to do an interview?" And they've all been saying yes. So I've got some great people lined up. But let's open it up in general. Any questions that anybody has or comments or whatever people want to say before we sign off?
Yeah, it'd be great to have something.
Um, Actually, while we're waiting to see if there's any questions, I have a story that I shared with Jacqui of how I first got into working with past lives myself because I wasn't intending to do that. And what happened was I have this muscle testing technique where if somebody has a childhood issue. Oh, here we go. Koala says, I'm going to get your book, Jacqui. Thank you. I'm so glad I'm here right now.
Well, thank you. And if you have any questions when you've read it, Koala, just let me know. It'll give you my details, ways of contacting me.
You just reminded me of something. So there's the people who are live who's been asking questions, but there's going to be people who watch the replay, and there's a way you can ask questions of Jacqui after the interview is over. Excuse me, everybody. Jacqui, what I would like you to do is once this YouTube live becomes a video,
Hmm.
and you can tell when it's happened by just going here. Please post a comment saying, "I invite you to ask your questions as a reply to this comment." Because what will happen is if people then reply to your comment, you will get notified by YouTube that there's a reply to your comment.
Great.
So you don't have
Thank
to just
you.
kind of periodically check in on the video comments. You'll be notified. And for those of you watching the replay, just check to see if there's a comment by Jacqui there. I'll pin it to the top when she does it, and then make sure you reply to her comment rather than making an independent comment. And
Great.
That's how
I'm
you can
glad
do it.
somebody knows about the technology.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's fun. So, all right. I wanted to share a quick story that I was saying. So, when I'm working with a client, I'm looking for usually childhood sources of the issue they're dealing with. And if the person can't just directly get in touch with it, I use muscle testing to identify how old they were when the original wound happened. And I'll test from conception through up to their current age, right? And I had this one client and I tested, chunk by chunk all the way from when they were conceived to their current age. And I got no, 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 all no's. Wasn't then. And I was like, didn't work. So I did it all again and went through from conception to there. And I was getting really distressed. And then all of a sudden I thought, wait a minute. And I said, past life? And I got a yes. It was like, oh, okay, here we go. And that's so that's what took me into it. And then we got in touch with it and we healed it. And then bam, the issue
It makes such
much
a
better.
difference, doesn't it? Yeah, I was working with somebody who absolutely huge stuff. She was one of the Atlantis people, and she wouldn't connect with humans. If she was in the garden, she had headphones, she had a floppy hat, sunglasses, so nobody would connect with her at all. And when we cleared some of the Atlantis stuff, she looked out and she went, I could see the leaves on the trees. And I said, yes. And she went, I could barely see the tree before. And it cleared and it held for 2 weeks till the next wave of stuff came through. So suddenly she could see leaves on a tree that she could only see as a green blob.
Wow.
So it's just amazing the difference.
Yeah.
So,
It can be
do we have
incredibly
any
impactful.
questions?
What?
Do we have any questions, or are they all shy?
Uh, well, we have some people who've been not shy at all. They've been asking lots of good questions, but nothing new. So I guess we'll end it here.
Okay.
So it's been so fantastic having you here, and I love what you share with us, and I also just love your energy.
And it's so nice to see you again because it's so long since I've seen you.
I know we used to run into each other a lot at EFT
We
conventions.
do. Yeah.
Don't go to them anymore since COVID and
Yeah.
Zoom.
But they just aren't live ones anymore, are they? Everything's Zoom,
Yeah.
which is great on one level, but I do miss the hugs. So
Yes.
take a virtual hug from me, Stefan.
Thank you.
And a virtual hug for everybody on the call or listening to it later on.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Likewise. All right. Cool. Well, I'll see you later and see all of you later, hopefully at the next interview. Bye bye, everyone.
bye.